Hi everyone, welcome to Wendy's Art. Today I have an original abstract painting that I did that I've titled Island of Blue. I'm trying to concentrate the abstracts on the colours and the landscapes around me on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, hence the blue, and lots of the flowers and things are the magenta, and the yellowy orange is the rocks, and just my interpretation of the colours that I see around me. So I hope you enjoy the process today. It's just a fun little abstract that I did. So here we go. So this was my starting point. I've got a 16 by 20 inch CreateArt Canvas panel, and on that panel I placed a stencil, which is the black that you can see, and through the stencil I sprayed carbon black Liquitex spray paint. So that's what I did for my first layer. So I'm using now Neocolor 2s by Caran. These are water soluble wax pastels, and so what I'm doing now is just some mark making. If you've been watching any of my abstracts, you'll know that I love mark making. So I've selected 6 different colours to tie in with the colours that I'll be using on the art piece. So just relaxing and just making some marks. So what I might do is just speed this up a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next layer. Okay, I've finished with the mark making with the water soluble wax pastels. Now I'm spritzing with water, and then I will spritz with alcohol and just let it sit. And when I come back again, we'll have a look and see how it looks after this being sprayed. Hopefully it'll have a really nice effect. Okay, so as you can see, it's dried after being spritzed with the water and alcohol, and looks really pretty. It's a shame to cover it up. I really love those colours and the way it's dried. But what I'm doing is moving on and adding some turquoise deep in the Ara range, using a scraper just to spread the paint. I'm just going for sort of a big shape. Obviously, as I'm thinking about landscape colours where I live, there's a lot of blue, beautiful blue water. So this is representative of that. So just spreading it nice and thinly with the scraper. Trying to get a little bit of what's underneath poking through. Next I'll spray with some water just to get some effects by using water and alcohol. So I'm encouraging some drips and just some different textures, and what I'll do is stop talking here and just speed it up a little bit so you're not getting bored stiff. But yeah, so I'll hold it up every now and then just to get some drips going, spray a bit more, and we'll see what happens. Before that blue paint dries, I've got a few little texture plates there, so I'm just pushing them into the blue paint to get a bit of that texture, and then the paint that I pick up I'm just putting in different places on the rest of the canvas board. You can see what pretty effect it makes. So I've just been doing that, lifting a bit of paint off, putting a bit of paint down. Okay, now I've added some magenta and some ochre paint onto the canvas board. I must have forgotten to tape it. So now I'm just pulling back what I think might be a bit too heavy by the looks of it. Yeah, so I've put some colour down, just taking a little bit back with the blue paper towel. Just to give it a little bit of different texture, and where the paint's a bit strong, just to knock it back a bit. So now I've just got a bit of the yellow ochre on a sponge and just making a few random marks with that. Okay, so now I've got some turquoise in the Atelier Free Flow range. It's a fairly fluid type acrylic and it's a beautiful bright blue. So what I'm doing is using that stencil there and just putting some of that colour down using a sponge applicator. Make sure you don't have too much paint on there, especially when it's a fluidy paint like that, otherwise it will run underneath. Okay, so again I'm doing a bit more stenciling, using a brush this time, small brush, and doing some organic type lines. So I'll speed that up, so it's just a stenciling process straight through there. Okay, now I'm using some bubble wrap. So what I'll be doing is just painting some colour onto the bubble wrap and then just stamping it onto the canvas board. So I think I'm using white at this stage. Yes. So I've used a combination of white, and then I think I used a bit of white and a bit of yellow. A bit of the yellow ochre. So starting with the white. So just brushing it across the bumpy part of the bubble wrap and then turning it over and using it as a stamp. I really love this. It gives a really great texture. So I'll speed this up now. Okay, so now I'm picking up some Zinc White acrylic, which is quite, it's not opaque, so it's quite translucent, you can see through it. So I'm just using that because I don't want to use all that lovely stencil on the first layer and the layers underneath. I tend to get attached to my layers and then I don't like covering them up, as you can see. But that's just what I like. So just adding some white here and there, just to knock the shapes back a little bit, but you can still see them. So I'm just starting to add some colours now to various places, so I'll speed it up and you can sort of see what else I add. Okay, this is the golden Quinacridone Nicolas Gold. I absolutely love this colour, as do many artists. So I'm just watering it down a bit, and I decided I would use that instead of the yellow ochre. I'm going over some of the areas of the yellow ochre. It just packs more punch and it's just a gorgeous colour. So I've moved into adding some of that now. Okay, so now I've got some pearl blue, which will look white, but it will give a bit of a blue hue depending on the light that you look at it in. Okay, so I'm going to use the stencil brush again and adding some more lighter coloured stencils. This pearl blue, and I think some stencils in white, so I'll speed it up. So it's just basically adding some pearl blue and some white stencils at this stage. Okay, so this is where I finished the videoing. I was really happy with it. The colours are lovely and vibrant as I love them. But what I decided was once it dried, it wasn't looking quite as vibrant as I wanted. So what I did was I moved on and then did another layer of glazing. So I glazed some turquoise blue over the water section or blue section, and then I glazed a bit of magenta and also a bit of the Quinacridone Nicolas gold. And here is the final painting, looking lovely and vibrant, and a really good day's work. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the process as I put this abstract together. If you enjoyed it, please click like and subscribe to Wendy's Art. Thank you for watching.